So today, let's start in child's pose. So you can decide how much you want to get into the hips. So the wider you go with the knees, the more you're going to feel this in the hips. If the knees are a little closer, you're going to feel it a little less. You're just going to see what's going on with your body here. Start to stretch your arms forward, and then you're going to rest your head down. So this first child's pose of the day can be really intense. Maybe you need a block for underneath your head. You might even need a blanket underneath your thighs. Sometimes that can feel a little nice. So just take a moment here and settle your way in, make any little adjustments that you need to. And then decide what you want to do with your arms. They can be stretching forward like this. You can find more of a goalpost shape. You might even reach your arms by your side. Sometimes that's nice. It allows the shoulder heads to dip down a little bit so you get a little more rounding on the upper spine. All good places to be. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha, completely empty. And then inhale, fill up, feel the expansion of your rib cage, the sides of your body, the back of your body. Pause at the top. See if you can sip in a little more air. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then do that one more time just at your pace. And just pause at the top, sip in a little more air, fill up just a little more. And then after you empty out, you're going to start to find your Ujjayi breath. So inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Length of the inhale, length of the exhale, really nice and even. Maybe here there's a slight pause at the top of the breath and a slight pause at the bottom of the breath. So in a sense, it's like we have this 4-part breath. Make sure that you're lengthening through the back of your neck so you're not gripping there, softening in your shoulders. And as you listen to the sound of your breath, you're using it as this tool to help really draw your attention inward. So you're letting all of the outside noise just drift into the background. Trying to let that happen too with the chatter happening inside your head. That's a little harder to let go of sometimes, but just do your best. Good. So if your arms are by your side, you're going to stretch them forward here. Spread your fingers gently, pressed evenly. So you're reaching so far forward that the forearms start to come up off the mat. And then go ahead and just bring your gaze up so you're lifting your chest and heart up a little bit. And we're going to just thread the eye of the needle here. So you're going to take that right arm, cross it underneath the left arm. The left arm is essentially in downward facing dog. Your head might be resting on the floor. It might be resting more on that inner right arm. And you should be feeling a pretty nice stretch across the tricep here. So that outer right arm. So not really trying to find a twist here so much. There's a gentle wrapping of those right ribs to the left. But this is more about the arm stretch, a little bit of the neck stretch. Good. Walk back to center. So find those downward facing dog arms, fingers spread, forearms are lifting up off the mat. Root down into your right palm. Take that left arm underneath. And the head may or may not reach the floor. You could even be resting your head on a block if there's intensity, if there's a lot of sensation in the neck. Otherwise, it's okay if it just hangs a little bit too. Then you should be feeling this in that left tricep, outer arm, across the backs of the shoulders, a little opening there. That breath is still really smooth and steady. Good. As you inhale, come back to center. And then let's take another little version of that. So rock up to your tabletop. You're gonna root down into your palms, so same thing. Let's take that right arm underneath. So this is gonna be a little more of a twist, perhaps a little more intense in the neck. It's gonna get into a different place in that right shoulder. You can rest your head on a block or a blanket here. Walk that left hand forward. So it's as though that arm is in downward facing dog, and then really try to wrap that outer arm down towards the mat. As you're doing that though, you're spinning the right ribs up towards the ceiling. Stay here like this, or start to take left hand off to the left. Inhale, stretch the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then spin that top palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow, grab a piece of shirt on the right side. Maybe you can bring your fingertips to the inside of that right thigh. Wherever you're at, you're just finding a little leverage so you can open up this left shoulder head. You're gently rolling it back, and it can be quite intense. So keep that breath moving, that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. And of course, you always back out a little bit if you need to. So we kind of are always like going for it. Do less. Sometimes that's what we need. Good. So on your next inhale, if you're in that wrap, go ahead and extend that left arm up. As you exhale, unwind, come back to this tabletop position, and we take that to the second side. Rooting down into that right palm, the shoulder is over the wrist. Thread that left arm underneath, landing on the shoulder, the ear, maybe you're on a block or a blanket, and then take right hand forward. So it's as though that arm is in downward facing dog. As you press into all five knuckles, feel that outer right arm spin down towards the mat. But as you hold on to that sensation, you spin those left ribs to the right a little bit. This might be a great place to stay. If you want to go a little further, take your right arm over the top of that left arm, and then inhale, start to stretch up. Good. Spin the palm to face behind you, bend the elbow, grab a piece of shirt, hook your pants with your thumb. Maybe you can bring your fingertips to the inside of that left thigh. Wherever you're at, you're just finding a little leverage so you can get a little more opening on that right shoulder, across the right pectoral there. You're leaning back. How is this side different in your body? Good. Inhale, unwind if you're in the wrap. Beautiful work. As you exhale, you come back to your tabletop, and then just release your head down, come into the cat stretch. Belly button pulls towards the back ribs. Inhaling, arching. Good. As you exhale, round in. So just moving into your cat-cow, and just find a pace that feels really good in your body today. You're not too fast, you're not too slow, you're just right. You're getting curious about how your spine is feeling. Where is this really easy today? Where is there a little more tension? Can you try to soften in those places? Can you send your breath to those spots? Good. As you inhale, you come back to a neutral spine. All right, so you're gonna keep your gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips. Feel your lower belly engage, feel the outer hips engage. As you inhale, right leg, left arm lift. Keep the hips spinning down so they're facing the same direction. Plug that right arm into the shoulder socket so you feel those shoulder blades still squeezing in towards each other. See how long you can get here. So this is such a great pose for creating space and length in the spine. Then maybe you bend that right knee. You might just stay here like this. Maybe you reach back, see if you can find the foot. Good, and if you've got the foot, kick that foot into your hand as you root down into that right palm. Start to spin those right ribs to the left. There's a little twist here, a little back bend, a lot of balance. Are you breathing? Keep that breath moving. So especially when we come into balance poses, it starts to, we start to hold it a little bit. Maybe you're looking out over that left shoulder, kind of up towards the ceiling if it feels okay in your neck. Good. On your inhale, gracefully take your time, stretch back out, fire up that right leg, that lifted leg. Nice work. As you exhale, release down. All right, we take that to the second side. So make any little adjustments that you need to here with your base. As you inhale, really stretch out as you lift right leg and then left arm. Seeing how long you can get. Notice if you're overarching in your lumbar. Pull your belly button towards the back ribs if you are. Good. Keep this left leg really active. Just start to bend the knee. And then maybe you reach back, find the foot. Good. And if you've got the foot, you kick it into your hand. Lean that left shoulder head back. It's that same feeling that we just had in that tabletop thread the needle pose. Little balance. A lot of muscles working here to keep you upright. If you fall out, it's no big deal. It's only yoga. This is how our body figures out how to do this. All right, maybe bring your gaze up over that right shoulder, slightly towards the ceiling. Nice and graceful. Make your way out. Nice, Neil. As you exhale, you release down. Walk your hands forward. A couple of inches, spread fingers. Curl toes under, downward facing dog. Today we're just gonna find a place of stillness right away. Now you might do that with a bend in your knees so you can really start to get more length through the sides of your waist and stretch those sit bones up towards the ceiling. Your legs can come straight to any amount. Just remember for this first downward dog of the day, it's probably not gonna be your deepest pose. That's absolutely fine. Make sure that your neck is lengthening and you'll know that that's happening if you're gazing between your feet. And those feet are about hips distance apart, second and third toe pointing forward. It's kind of like your heels are hiding behind your toes, from the front of the leg to the back of the leg, from muscle to bone in both arms and legs. So you're really working the body a lot. Good. Hold on to this feeling as you inhale. Start to shift forward into your plank pose. Nice and slow. And then moving that slow, belly pulls in, hips start to stretch up towards the ceiling. Pull back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, take your time getting there. Find that plank pose again. We're going to do a couple more of these. Try to turn it into a core strengthener. So really using your belly to pull you forward and back. Two more on your breath. Inhaling forward. Shoulder blades squeeze in. You're wide and open across your heart and chest. On your exhale, you take your time. Pulling back. You're going to start to feel a little heat. You're going to feel your arms working, the sides of your waist working. Good. We're going to inhale, shift forward into our plank pose. So back of the neck nice and long. Your gaze is an inch or two in front of your fingertips. The temptation here sometimes is to look at the toes. You don't need to. Gaze forward. And then shift way forward on your toes. You can lower to your knees here. We're going to pass to our chaturanga as we come to our belly. Everything touches at the same time. We're doing this to the count of 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, and 1. Who taught this yoga teacher how to count? All right, tops of the feet, press, roll a little bit to the outer edges of your feet. Let's interlace our fingers at the small of the back. If that's not happening in your body today because of tightness in the shoulders, you can just stretch your fingertips back. So landing on your forehead, start to fire up the legs a lot. So toenails are pressing down, inner thighs are spiraling up as outer hips squeeze in. As you inhale, keep that anchoring in the lower body. Drag your knuckles towards your heels or reach your fingertips back. Head, chest, shoulders extend forward and up. And then you might start to lift your wrists up off your buttocks here. That's going to get into the shoulders a little more. If you're really tight in the shoulders, that's not going to be happening. That's okay. And then also just notice if you tend to be hyper flexible. I have like these loose elbow joints. So I'm taking a little micro bend in my elbows, and it actually gives me more stretch in the shoulders. So you can always modify in that direction. Inhale, you're filling up with breath. Feel a little lightness lift in your heart and chest. Nice work. As you exhale, you lower down. If your fingers are interlaced, change the interlacing so you shift everything over one, and it does feel a little different as we come up again. Inhale, same thing. Reaching back your fingers, lifting arms up off the body, any amount. And then if you'd like to add your legs, you're welcome to do that. Keep them active and reaching. Try to lift the back of your body and the front of your body nice and evenly. One is going to feel easier than the other. Good. Place your feet down. Release your arms, so take them out wide like airplane wings. Keep pressing the shoulder heads up towards the ceiling. And then fingertips underneath your shoulder heads. So you're in your Bhujangasana, low cobra. Exhale, lower. Good. Inhaling up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale up. Exhale, we lower. And then inhale, we take a few breaths here. If you're feeling warm, if you practice your upward facing dog, you're welcome to come into that. Slide the hands back, wrists under elbows. Check to see that that's happening. Next inhale, press into the tops of your feet. Press into your hands so arms come to straight. Your shins, your knees, your thighs are lifting up off the mat in this pose. If that's not happening, come back down to that low cobra. Gaze slightly forward. So front of the neck, back of the neck, both nice and long. From here, you roll over your toes. If you are in your low cobra, press to your tabletop. And then pull back to your downward facing dog. Already this pose is starting to feel a little more spacious. Might be super subtle. From here, we're going to start to walk our feet forward to meet our hands. All right. As you inhale, hands on shins or thighs, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, shoulder heads back. This is a standing cobra. As you exhale, you fold in. Press into your feet. Root down, stretch arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. And we start to flow here. Inhale, stretch up. Right fingertips to left wrist. Exhale, side bend to the right. Ooh, feel that stretch to the left side. Inhale up. Left fingertips to right wrist. Exhale, side bend to the left. Let's do that one more time each side. Inhale up. Exhale, find that side bend. It can be really intense first thing. Exhale, off to the left. Good. Inhale up. This time as you exhale, hinge forward at your waist, fold in. Maybe you have a little bend in your knees. Let the back of your neck lengthen and release. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, fold in. Press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Extended mountain pose. See how tall you can get. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Here we go. One more. Inhaling, reaching. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, you fold. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, stretch up, Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana. Exhale, fold in Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen Ardha Uttanasana. Right foot stays forward. As you exhale, step that left foot way back. Land on the knee. Good. Inhale, rise up. Anjalayasana, low crescent. Palms face forward. Make fists as you exhale. Moving through molasses. Feel this opening across the shoulders. Inhale, press up. Exhale, pull back. See if you can squeeze those elbows in towards each other. Nice. Inhale up. You're directing your tailbone down as your sternum lifts. Outer hip squeeze in. One more. Exhale. Pull down. Good. Inhale, press up. Release your fist, palms face together. Press palms, gaze up. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Curl your left toes under. Keep your gaze forward. Step back to plank pose in one piece. Take an inhale here. You're engaging all the muscles. Exhale, shift forward. Lower halfway, hover, or all the way down. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So you can always skip those chaturanga vinyasas if you're not feeling it today. As we inhale, we lift our left leg up. Exhale, step that foot through, land on your right knee. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Feet are hips distance apart. Inhale, rise up. Anjalayasana. Squeeze this left glute in a lot. Palms face forward, make fists. Exhale, pull down, squeeze elbows in. Feel this stretch across the pectorals. Trying to open up the front body here. Inhale, slowly press up. Good. Exhale, squeeze down. Good. One more. Just moving with the breath here. Exhale, pull down. And then inhale, stretch up. Release those fist palms, press together, gaze up. As you exhale, palms come down to the mat. Curl right toes under, and you're gonna step that right foot to meet the left foot. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, folding in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Good work. As you inhale, arms reach. As you exhale, you hinge forward, fold. Good. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep the left foot forward this time, step the right foot way back. You're gonna keep those toes curled under, find a bend in the knee. All right, take your arms out wide here like airplane wings. And then maybe go ahead and straighten that back leg, but make sure that you have a nice deep bend in this left knee. And you don't wanna be laying your belly down here. We're gonna stretch arms up overhead. So you're still nice and low. Press to the inner edge of that left foot. Rise on up. Full crescent pose. You might find a little bend in that back knee again, especially if you're a little tighter in these hip flexors. It's just gonna help you to find a little more space. All right, left fingertips to right wrist, pull up. As you exhale, squeeze that left hip in as you lean off to the left. Little side stretch, subtle little twist here. Good, inhale up to center. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat, gaze forward, step that left foot back, take an inhale, plank pose. From here, you pull back downward dog, or you take your chaturanga vinyasa. Whatever that looks like, you can modify with knees. We all meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. So you wanna make sure you're not on a tight rope. Little bend in that back knee. Pull the lower belly in and up. All right, take your arms out wide. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. And then just even here, make sure that the shoulders aren't scrunching up around your ears. You're softening down. Gaze forward, stretch the arms up overhead. Make sure that you're not laying your belly on that right leg. All right, strong, strong back leg, deep bend in the right knee. Rise on up. Good, and then you can take a little bend in the knee here, especially if you're tighter in hip flexor area. Okay, squeeze this right glute in, right fingertips to left wrist, side bend to the right. Definitely a little balance here. You're working that, feel the shoulder blades release down your back. They're squeezing in towards each other. Maybe you're looking up underneath that top arm. And you're breathing smooth and steady as much as possible. We're starting to work and move, so the breath might be speeding up a little bit. Good, inhale, back up to center. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. You step your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Pressing down into your feet. Stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Take a couple of breaths. Check in. Just notice how you're feeling here. All right. So this time, as you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana chair pose. Weight is in the heels. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Bend your knees, plant your palms, keep your gaze forward, right foot back, then left. Take an inhale in your plank. Exhale, shift forward, lower halfway, hover, or all the way down, legs super active. Inhale into the back bend of your choice. Nice work. As you exhale, downward facing dog. So we inhale, we lift this right leg, hips stay even, squeeze that outer right hip in. Exhale, step that foot through. We find our crescent pose again. All right, inhale up. Good, exhale, bend that back knee, release your tailbone down. And then inhale, straighten both legs, right hip pulls back, left hip forward. A couple more of these. Exhale. Good, inhale, straighten, one more. Exhale, sink in. Keep this nice deep bend in your right knee. Start to straighten that back leg. And then we're going to transition into our Virabhadrasana 2. So start to heel toe, right foot to the left twice. Open up that back leg. Right heel is intersecting your left arch. So torso perpendicular to the long edge of your mat. Stretching your arms out. Press that right knee back a lot, but feel this left hip release down. All right. So we're going to straighten legs again as you inhale. Press to the inner edge of that right foot. Arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, sink in nice and deep. So big hip opening happening in this pose. One more, inhale. Good, exhale, sink in. Keep the legs like this. Spin your right palm to face up. Inhale, reverse warrior. Good, start to press to the inner edge of that right foot. Bring that leg to straight, so reverse triangle pose. Feel this length on the right side. I want you to try to hold on to that as we start to transition to our triangle pose. So lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. If you don't have a block at home, you're going to take your hand on your thigh or your shin. If you do have a block, you can grab that, set it up behind that right foot. You might be able to just have fingertips on the floor. So shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Press more to the inner edge of this right foot. That's going to turn this hip opening on. So you're going to feel that inner right thigh wrap towards the outer right thigh. And then you're sealing into the back edge of that left foot. Notice how that helps you to firm this hip up towards the ceiling. But as you're doing that, you're lengthening again through that right side of your waist. Good. So make a thumbs down sign with your left hand. Good. Reach that arm back. Good, and then bend the elbow. So again, grab a piece of shirt. Maybe you can bring your fingertips to the inside of that thigh. Press the shoulder head back. Right, so nice deep inhale here. Exhale, straighten or bend that right knee rather. Inhale, straighten. Good, exhale, sink in. Inhale, press to the inner edge of that foot to straighten out. Good, exhale, sink in, stay here. Maybe reach your right fingertips up. Press this left shoulder head back, seal into the back edge of your right foot. Good, so stay here in the wrap. Find your reverse warrior again. Nice work. Good, inhale, release. Find your Virabhadrasana 2. Good, as we exhale, we windmill arms up and over. Good, and then let's just find a little twist here. So lower your left knee down. You're gonna root down into that left palm. Good, and then start to spin open. So you can stay here like this. If you wanna get in to that left hip flexor a little more, bend the knee, reach back, find the, ooh, I just got a nice hamstring cramp doing that. That happens sometimes. But you can grab that foot. So it's kind of like that version that we did in our tabletop. You could hold on with a strap here onto your foot too. So find a little twist, spinning those left ribs up as you pull your left heel closer to your left buttocks. Press that right shoulder head back. A couple more breaths. Big stretch on that hip flexor. Nice work. Good. Go ahead and release if you took that variation. Palms plant, curl left toes under. Keep hips this low. You're either going to step back to your downward facing dog or your plank, taking a chaturanga vinyasa, moving with your breath at a pace that feels good to you. All right, nice work. So we're going to take that little sequence, not so little, actually a lot going on there, to the second side. As you inhale, left leg lifts, hips stay even. Good, use your belly to help step that left foot through. You're on train tracks here, so feet hips distance apart. Inhale, rise up into your crescent pose. Good, belly pulls in as you exhale, bend that right knee a lot. Inhale, scissor your legs, left hip back, right hip forward to straighten. Exhale, sink in. Good, inhale, pull up. Good, exhale, sink in. Keep the bend in this left knee, but start to straighten that right leg. And then we're gonna heel toe, left foot to the right twice. Spin into the back edge of that right foot. Left heel intersects right arch. Stretch your arms out so your torso is facing towards the long edge of your mat. You're sinking in nice and deep in this left knee. It's like you're making a bench for somebody to come sit on. Good, inhale, stretching arms up overhead. Exhale, sink in. Good, inhale, press up. As you exhale, you sink in. So keep the lower body just like this, flip your left palm up. Inhale. Find that reverse warrior. Take an exhale. And then inhale, press to the inner edge of that left foot, straighten the leg. Exhale, sink in. Good, inhale. One more exhale. So inhale, here we are in our reverse Trikonasana triangle pose. Feel all of the length through the left side of this waist. So we want to hold on to that as we start to shift hips off to the right, transitioning into Trikonasana. Good. So again, hand on thigh, shin, fingertips on the floor. Block is really nice. It just gives you more space. Shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Really press to the inner edge of this left foot that turns on this maximal hip opening. So you feel that inner left thigh wrap towards the outer left thigh. You're sealing into the back edge of your right foot. Shoulder blades are squeezing in towards each other. And that's happening in most of our poses. As you inhale, you're trying to find more length through the left side. As you exhale, you're spinning those ribs up. Good, do the thumbs down sign here. Kind of backstroke. Good, and then bend the elbow so you can place the back of your hand into your back. You're getting leverage to open up that right shoulder. Maybe your fingertips can come to the inside of that left thigh. All right. So here we go. As we exhale, we bend in. So it's a modified Parsvakonasana with a wrap, half wrap. Inhale, straighten. Good, exhale, bend in. Keep lengthening through the left side of your waist. Inhale, straighten that leg. Good, exhale, sink in here. Maybe you just stay here. Maybe you stretch your left fingertips forward. See how long you can get. Press, press, press into the back edge of that right foot. Keep the lower body like this. Stay in the wrap if you can. Find your reverse warrior. Spin those right ribs up. Good, as you inhale, release everything. Find your Virabhadrasana 2. And then as we exhale, hands unwind, drop onto that right knee. All right, and we find a little twist here. So you're gonna press into that right palm, left hand to left hip, spin open. And then if you wanna get into that right hip flexor as well, bend the knee, grab the foot. You can grab the inner edge of the foot or the outer. It kind of just depends on how flexible your shoulders are. You're leaning this left shoulder head back, spinning those right ribs up towards the ceiling, bringing your right heel closer to your right buttocks. Big, big hip flexor stretch. It can be really intense and it might not be happening in your body. That's fine too. Couple more breaths. Good. So without slingshotting out here, just release, unwind. Palms plant on either side of that left foot. Curl those right toes under, your choice. You step back to downward facing dog or to plank pose. Take a chaturanga vinyasa, moving with your breath if you'd like to. So as we move towards kind of this last part of our class, as we start to get tired, these can look sloppy. So if that's you, if you're too fatigued to be really distinct about each pose, it's time to start skipping them. And that's absolutely all right. We're gonna take a nice deep inhale here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. As you inhale, find a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, lightly hop through or step right then left. Inhale, chest lengthens. Good, exhale, fold in. As you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana chair pose. If your feet aren't hips distance apart, just go ahead and heel toe them so that they are. Just imagine that you are squeezing a block between your thighs. If you wanted to take one and do that, you actually could. It just gives you some nice feedback and structure. It also helps you to line up the knees and the hips here. All right, so as you exhale, hands come to heart center, vigorously press palms together, open across your heart and chest, and then start to exhale, twist to the left. You might stay here like this. You might hinge forward, hook elbow to the outside. Nice work, Neil, of that right thigh. And again, we're just opening up. We're spinning that lowermost left rib up towards the ceiling. Finally, if you'd like to split your arms here, if you're in pretty deep, you can do that. Keep breathing. Maybe gaze comes up. You're squeezing that block a lot if you have it. If you don't, you're pretending that you are, and maybe feeling grateful that you don't have a block. Good, deep inhale. As you exhale, just go ahead and unwind. Hang forward here for a breath or two. And then as you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up. Squeeze that block to face behind you if you've got it. Lots of length through the sides of your waist. Exhale, palms to heart center. Exhale, twist from the lowermost right ribs to the left. Maybe you stay here like this. Maybe you hinge forward. Notice how my right hip started to creep forward, so I'm pulling it back. So you can just imagine that you're up against a wall. You're pressing both sit bones back into that wall. Breath smooth and steady. And then maybe split your arms if you're in pretty deep here. This is not necessarily better. So if it's not working, don't worry. Maybe you're gazing up at that top thumb. When we're deep, inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. And then just bring your hands to your hips, elbows squeeze in with a nice flat back. Press on up, keep squeezing that block behind you if you've got it. Good work. All right, so go ahead and just take the block to the top of the mat. We're gonna step wide on our mat. So we're gonna visit some of these hip opening poses again, standing poses, and we're gonna take this into our Ardha Chandrasana with the option to approach that with the half wrap. So from deep within this right hip socket, turn that leg out to 90, left toes turn in. So right heel is intersecting left arch. So approaching this pose a little different. Torso is facing towards the long edge of the mat. As you inhale, arms will reach up. Exhale, shift your hips off to the left. Lots and lots of length through the right side of your waist. Again, hand can come to thigh or shin. Block is really nice here. And you just adjust it so that that block is underneath that top shoulder. Okay, thumbs down sign. Reach back, bend the elbow. So back of the hand can press into your spine. Maybe you can get those fingertips to the inside of that right thigh. You're just getting a little leverage to open up. Notice how long you are on this right side of your waist. I want you to hold on to that, but just bring your gaze down. Okay, so start to bend that right knee. Take your block forward about a foot. Okay, and if this isn't working for you in the wrap, you just bring your left hand to your left hip. So a couple of options. You might need to step that back leg in a little bit. Perhaps you try to just lift from where you're at. So I am firming up that leg a lot. As I shift the weight into the right foot, I fire up the inseam of that left leg. So coming up here, standing leg really active. You might keep a pretty generous bend in that right knee, and there's going to be all of these micro movements happening in that standing foot. Big, big balance pose. Okay, so let's start to bend this left knee. Hand is pretty close there, so find the foot, come out of that half wrap, and then kick that foot into your hand. Lean that left shoulder blade back. Breath smooth and steady. And maybe you start to get so light that you reach your right fingertips up off that block, perhaps even stretch them forward. If you have space, you might fall out. Okay, so nice and graceful. Inhale, release, stretch up. We are in triangle pose on its side. We're gonna transition into full triangle pose. So deep bend in your right knee, stretch that left foot back, back, back. Start to straighten the front leg. Great work. As you exhale, look down at your right toes. Inhale, press into your feet. You can grab your block if you have it. Parallel your feet. Whew. Release your arms down. Take that block behind your left ankle. So Ardha Chandrasana with our half wrap. So just another fun way to approach it, kind of challenge the balance a little more. Get into the shoulders. From deep within this left hip socket, turn that leg out. Right toes, turn in. We are heel to arch. You're engaging the muscles above the knees, so legs are really, really active here. You're engaging the muscles in the lower belly. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, it's that beautiful lateral stretching. We're lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. When it feels like you can't go any further, hand to thigh, shin, or block. So classic Trikonasana, big hip opener. And hips are not facing the same direction. They're doing different things here. So you don't need to feel like you need to square them. This right hip is releasing down a little bit. Good. Thumbs down sign. Kind of lean that arm back like you're gonna do a backstroke. Good, and then find your half wrap. Grab a piece of shirt, press the back of your hand into your spine, wherever you're at. So you're really leaning this right shoulder head back. Okay. So we're going to transition here into our Ardha Chandrasana. Keep your chest spinning open this much. Just bring your gaze down. Start to bend this left knee. So it's that half wrap in Parsvakonasana. Walk your block forward. And again, your option, maybe you step this back foot in a little bit. If you want to challenge yourself a little more here, fire up that right leg, lift from the inseam and just try to step into the pose. And if you don't nail it, no big deal. We practice these over and over again so that we get good. Keep finding length here. And then maybe you start to engage the core, reach the fingertips forward. You might even find I have to kind of look forward or down to do this. If you're looking up, it's a little harder. All right. Good, go ahead and release, and then let's find our Shavasana if you want to play with that. Bend the right knee, find that foot, and then if you've got it, kick it. So it's nice little half back bend here. It's like a half bow pose, half Dhanurasana, Ardha Dhanurasana in this lifted leg. Lean that right shoulder head back. Are you breathing? Are you smiling? Even though this is challenging, you're doing great. All right. So find Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. This is triangle pose on its side. And then we transition into our triangle pose. Beautiful. As you exhale, look down at your left toes. Inhale. Press to rise up. Parallel your feet. Release your arms so you can step feet together, hop feet together, whatever feels good. Nice work. Okay, so let's just make our way to our belly really quick. It would be a shame not to do a little back bending after all of that warming up. So as we inhale, arms reach out and up. As we exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Your choice. You have an opportunity for one final chaturanga vinyasa if you'd like. So you're either stepping back to your plank pose or your downward facing dog. If you step to plank with your breath, pass through your chaturanga and your up dog or your cobra pose. From downward dog, we all inhale, shift forward into our plank pose. Nice and slow. Exhale, 5. Elbow squeeze in. 4. Shoulder heads lift. 3. Legs active. 2 and 1. Nice work. All right. So reach your arms by your side. Land on your forehead here. Bend both knees. So the tendency here is for the legs to splay out. So I want you to keep your knees in line with your hips. Maybe they're even a little bit closer in. Grab the outer edges of your feet. You can use a strap here if you need. All right, so we're basically doing what we did in Shavasana, except for that we're doing it with both legs right now. So feel the shoulder heads lift and the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other on the center of your back. Take a nice deep inhale, full exhale. And then this time, let that inhale inflate you like a little helium balloon. Everything starts to lift up. So thighs, knees, head, chest. Maybe rock forward and back a little bit. If you just ate something, skip that. And just because we can, come back to center here. All right. So your gaze is forward. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale, staying in this position, you're going to rock to the right. So you're on that right side. This is a little pose in the Ashtanga series. I did not make this up. We have to blame it on someone else. All right. Inhale back to center. Stretch up. Find your bow pose. Nice. And then as we exhale, we rock to the left. And you could just maybe imagine that you're leaning your head back towards your toes. Who comes up with this nonsense? Inhale. Back up. Dhanurasana. Lift. And then as we exhale, we release down. So make a pillow with your hands, turn your cheeks to one side. And then bend your knees. So go ahead and take them a little wider than hips distance apart. And move super slow. Start to windshield wiper your legs back and forth, just to release the lower back out. Good, come back to center. Just turn your cheek to the other side for a couple of breaths so you can extend your legs to straight on the mat. Good, and then just from where you're at, you're just gonna do a little flip flop, come onto your back. And when you get there, let's find a nice little happy baby. So bend the knees in. Grab the outer edges of your feet if that's available in your body. Gently start to pull down. You also just might be pulling down on the thighs. You're gonna have a little slight curve in your lumbar, but you're kind of lengthening your tailbone forward. This should feel really nice after that back bending. And then if you would like to here, maybe you hook your big toes with your middle and index finger. Take the legs out straight. So Upavista, the supine version. Again, you could also just be holding thighs here, kind of gently pressing them towards your chest. Good. Legs come up to center. Bend your knees here. So place your feet down on the mat, ankles underneath your knees, and we're gonna get into the hips a little bit. You're gonna take your right ankle, cross it above that left knee, flex the foot, right hand presses into that right thigh. So you're trying to find that space. And for those of us who have tighter hips, this is where you're gonna stay. This is the pose. If you feel like you need a little more, you're gonna start to bend that left knee into your chest. Right hand reaches to the triangle you've made with your legs, interlacing fingers around your thigh or your shin, And then again, you can take that right elbow into your thigh, just gently wedge it forward. Gaze is just simply straight up at the ceiling here. And then check in with your breath again. Probably of its own accord, it started to slow down, stretch out. So maybe see if you can exaggerate that even a little more. Maybe you're inhaling to the count of 8 or 9 or 10, and then exhaling to that same number. Finally, if you feel like you want to go a little further still here, you can come into a version of reclining single pigeon. So you would make a forklift around that right shin with your elbows. You want to make sure that both shoulder heads are pressing down into the mat. And then you can start to extend forward through that left leg. It's really active. Your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling as you press into that left heel. So just a little more intense hip stretch. So women tend to be a little more flexible in the hips. So sometimes this gives us a little more of that stretch that we're craving. That being said, if you are hyper flexible, I want you to engage your muscles more here. So it might mean that you come out of the pose a little bit, but you'll be getting a deeper stretch and you'll be protecting the joints. Okay, so whatever version of this you are in, you make your way out the way that you came in. You just reverse all those steps. Good. And we take this to the second side. Left ankle crosses above right knee. Side to side here in the hips, things can be really different. So left hand to left thigh. As you gently press there, you are assessing, okay, so is this intense enough? Is this where I stay? Do I need a little more? If you're in that camp, you bend the knee in, right knee in. Left elbow into left thigh. Your fingertips are interlaced either around your thigh or your shin. And then those nice, long, deep, smooth breaths. Shoulder blades are heavy here. If you want to go one step further, coming into that reclining single pigeon pose, make that little forklift, and then start to extend that right leg straight. It's really active. So you feel both hip plates underneath you pressing evenly into the mat. Just gently pulling that left shin in towards your chest, any amount. Breath smooth and steady. Good. As you inhale, start to bend that right knee. If you took that variation, so we just, again, make our way out of this. Uncrossing left ankle. All right, squeeze knees in, take arms out in a T shape. As you exhale, drop your knees off to the right. You're gazing straight up or rolling onto your left cheek. Just a nice little spinal twist here so that we have a nice restful Shavasana. Inhale up to center with the knees, and then as you exhale, they drop off to the left. And looking straight up, rolling onto that right cheek. Where do you need to be in this pose? Good, and then we come up to center. Maybe one last little squeeze in, maybe even bring your nose to your knees, come into a tight little ball. And then from here, you make your way into your final resting pose, Shavasana. It might look classic, legs extended, arms wide, palms facing up. There's tenderness in your lower back. Take some support underneath your knees or bend your knees, take feet wide and allow knees to knock in towards each other. And then give yourself permission not to worry about that to-do list just yet. Soak up this stillness, this quiet. Allow all of the hard work you've done to assimilate into your body, your bones, your muscles, your brain. Enjoy being here, nice and quiet with your breath. Take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, let the breath go. Ha. And then wiggle fingers, toes, stretch out. So you're just bringing some gentle movement back to your body, bringing your awareness back to your body. And staying soft and quiet, you're going to roll to one side or the other. Find the fetal position. And then just using your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Notice how good you feel here. Notice the space, the strength you've created. Notice the shift in your breath from the beginning of class to the end of class. And then also just notice how the headspace has shifted. This might be one of the best things about our yoga practice. So hopefully you're feeling a little lighter, a little calmer, a little happy. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up and working hard. And just promise yourself that you're going to carry this good feeling you've worked so hard to create with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Palms come together at your heart. And just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today, yogis. Thank you. Namaste.